What's happening, people? And once again, welcome back to youtube.com/CubCamTV for this, another edition of CUBREACTS on a Tuesday afternoon. Very excited to be getting into this one as we check out an artist that we really have not paid enough attention to on this channel. I'm, of course, talking about T.I. Blaze. His brand new album has just dropped. And the main reason I know as much about this album as I do is because I watched a very exciting interview with Just Vibes and Banks with T.I. Blaze, who came over to the UK. They got to sit down and chat to him, and it made me really interested to listen to the album, so make sure you go and check out that interview. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Big up Banks and Vivs each and every time. But this one is a track off the album that did catch my attention. It goes by the name Play, and it features Fave, who is an artist that I absolutely adore. I love what she does sonically, and I'm excited to see how these two come together in collaboration, so we're going to be checking this one out today. As always, if you are new to the channel, do make sure you are getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right hand side of the page, of course turning notifications on as well, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff. And without further ado, let's jump into it and see how it's sounding. Just love what Fave brings to the table, man. I love her like textures.
I see you call me, I see you call me. You walk and try me, I believe I'm in it. Boss, I feel like I don't know what I'm playing.
Really nice introduction on this one then. Very smoky backdrops in regards to, I feel, the kind of atmospherics that are being provided by those synthesizers. Really nice kind of potent drum punches as well. The whole tune has a sense of kind of ominousness through that singular note that's just kind of pulsating around the sort of mid to low range. You've got this kind of sort of sound, and that's giving the whole thing like an ominous kind of feel. I'm interested to see how this develops. I love the rhythms though of those percussive hits.
Emotions are crazy. How much you give me throw away? Your words ain't doing nothing. You can't touch me. I'm blinding.
I'm loving the fact we're getting to hear that call and respond so early in the tune as well. We're getting right into these really classy vocal maneuvers, kind of jumping between two different places. And we're just getting a lot of kind of emotion out of this lead vocal as well. Again, I'm loving the backdrop. I'm loving that sort of feeling of ominousness. As I mentioned before, it just kind of gives the whole thing an even bigger kind of feel. It just has this feeling like something crazy is going to happen at some point. I do need to check out the full album at some point as well to see if this is a common theme, but I'm loving how this sounds.
Emotions are crazy. How much you give me throw away? Your words ain't doing nothing. You can't touch me. I'm blinding. Yes, I said so. You feel come try me. You go your life to live. I go my life to live.
So yeah, really cool introduction. Again, as I said, I love what Fave does sonically, and I like the fact on that one we're almost getting shades of Bam Bam by Sister Nancy. That bam bam. That's obviously not the same melody, but that's the melody that my ears immediately jump towards whenever I hear that. As if we come try. It's slightly different, but there's still that element of that rise and fall at the same piece of notation. Really, really cool introduction though, man. It's exactly what I wanted to hear from Fave on this.
Aside hypocrisy, show me what you good at, take time and they believe. Somehow when I got what they got me, one more time for it. I don't want no issue. You know, say I'm on it too loud, they kill it too bad.
So the difference of the vocals on this is quite interesting, purely because I feel that T.I.'s vocal is a lot more kind of pulled back in the mix. When we're listening through this normally, you tend to find that, I would say, a lot of the Fave vocals are a lot more prominent in the overall mix. Like, they aren't as pulled back. Like, you can hear every single kind of quiver within the vocals. With this vocal, however, T.I.'s is a little bit more kind of almost intertwined with the rest of the instrumentation. So you get two different levels of texture in regards to how the vocals are sounding, which is a cool thing to do, man. I like that, especially when it's his album, you know? It's a cool thing to see. So many
emotions are crazy. How much you give me throw away? Your words ain't doing nothing. You can't touch me. I'm blinding. Yes, I said so. You feel come try me.
Can't tell me that isn't a super catchy like hook and breakdown either, man. I love how that sounds. I love the fact that it has, I don't know, this just kind of almost like there's like a semi almost kind of whining texture to it. It almost feels like you're just kind of going, please, like that's the sort of vibe I'm getting off it. And I love that from Fave. Fave has such a good way of kind of inputting emotion into her vocal lines, and I think when you then texture that next to T.I. Blaze's vocals on this as well, you do end up with a nice kind of mesh of sounds and styles. And I think overall this one does come together quite nicely. I like their sort of fusion. I like the fact that they do get a lot of different sections. I actually like the fact, and I've said this about artists on previous albums as well, Wizkid most recently on Slip and Slide, that T.I. Blaze doesn't feel the need to be like the super main event. Like, he can step back, and I think that's a good thing to be able to do.
Emotions are crazy. How much you give me throw away? Your words ain't doing nothing. You can't touch me. I'm blinding. Yes, I said so. You feel come try me.
I love that vocal maneuver. So mad. We basically got 2 choruses and a strong intro verse from Fave, but then we got a we got a slightly shorter verse from T.I. Blaze. So it's an interesting one, man. This is almost feels like a Fave tune featuring T.I. Blaze, which is why I keep talking about Fave, even though I know it's a T.I. Blaze tune on a T.I. Blaze album. And hopefully we will get time to get into a few other tracks off this album. This is really interesting, man, and I love seeing it when an artist on an album, and it's their album, they aren't afraid to let someone else kind of play the main role on a tune. I think it's a very smart thing to do. Best example of that is Wizkid on Essence with Thames. And look what happened with that tune. I think it's just a smart thing to do, to let your collaborator sometimes drive the tune, because then you end up in places you would have never ended up normally. And it actually feels more like a kind of stretch, you know? I do like the drum processing on this as well. Really punchy. But there we go, T.I. Blaze, this one, Play, featuring Fave, the official audio rip. I very much did enjoy this one. I will say, I do actually prefer Fave on this to T.I. Blaze. I think T.I. Blaze's vocal is a little bit too pulled back in the mix for me, but that's not taking away from the fact that I like the ability to kind of step back and let your collaborator take a lead role on a tune. That's something that I've always encouraged, both professionally, in regards to kind of record label stuff and things like that, but also it's something I love to kind of quote about on reviews, because I think it shows a level of maturity within your kind of musical ego, and it means you aren't kind of driven to be the main event on every single thing, and you end up with beautiful things like this. And this is, for me, one of the catchiest kind of hook riffs of the year. Just that sort of that little dip there, beautifully done. And I did really enjoy this. Again, really nice drum processing. I love the ominous texture of the backdrop, and overall a cool addition, man. I do need to check out more from this album. Guys, let me know which tracks from the album I need to be checking out in the description down below, and don't forget to make sure you go and check out that interview that T.I. Blaze had with both Just Vibes and Banks. They sat down and did like a full podcast session together. It looked really, really good, and it was great to see, so do go and check that out. That's the reason I'm checking out this project, because I was inspired after listening to how the conversation came together. So there we go. As always, if you are new to the channel as well, do make sure you are getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right hand side of the page, of course, turning notifications on as well, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff, and we shall see you all next time. Peace.
Sound them sounding so good right now. But they're sounding a bright and cold.
Yes, it's Kovu, stay locked. Cam TV.
Boys, them whole fit right here, and you're locked on to the best breakfast with man like Kovu.
Yo, this is Aaron Glitch, and you're tuning to the sounds of Kovu right now. You already know the thing. Bad boy selector. Alright, let's go.